where there is no intention to commit crime. You are cleaning your gun, you accidentally shoot someone. You don't want to commit crime, but these are accidental. In accidental crime, there is a very likelihood of eyewitnesses because there is no design behind committing crime, and the person doesn't take any step to see that what I am doing should not be seen by others. So these are the crimes which are done, which normally get committed in public, and there is possibility of eyewitnesses. Second crime are committed in fit of rage, where you lose your own control. Somebody has abused you, or called names to you, or scratched some of your past history which you wanted to conceal. You get enraged, and in fit of rage you commit crime. And these, in fit of rage you also commit crime within the family. In fit of rage you hit your son, you hit your wife, you hit your brother, and a crime gets committed. Here you know the consequences, but you are not in your own control. You know that you are holding a kitchen knife, or a stone or a kulhari, and you just hit somebody. You know that this is going to be fatal. Injuries are going to be serious. But since you are committing crime in fit of rage, you don't make an attempt to conceal it. And eyewitnesses are witnesses if they are present. If you within the family, son would see what is happening to mother, mother would see what is happening to son. So this is second. Third crime are those which are done purposely, designedly after making scheme. Professionals which are done. In most of these crimes, professional crimes, you will find that the effort is that there is no eyes. Effort is that even circumstantial evidence is washed away. And the effort is that the crime should not be detected. See, first two crimes you will see that you will find most of these crimes get either convicted or acquitted. There is evidence on see which. It is only the third crime where real investigation is required. In first two kind of crimes, practically investigation is recording of statement of someone, seizing the weapon of offense, and this practically there is no investigation, some sending something to labs, etc. But real investigation challenge is only in third, right, where crimes are committed with the design, with scheme, knowledge that this police is going to investigate what I am going to do, and efforts are made to conceal them. So circumstantial evidence actually is the real evidence in criminal cases, real criminal cases. And if you say that circumstantial evidence is a kind of weak evidence, I think no crime which are done by professionals or the person with design can be convicted. No people will. No terrorist crime will be then convicted. Terrorists will not be convicted because they all do crime with the motive that they should not be caught and detected. So it is not that circumstantial evidence is a weak kind. Those who say that circumstantial evidence is a weak kind of evidence do not understand criminal law. Because in circumstantial evidence, actually real evidence is circumstantial evidence, which is to be collected and proved by the police before courts. Because they are the criminals, real criminals. Others are not professional criminals, are real criminals. Other are persons who are most of the time prepare to suffer, and they don't run away from the police. They make no effort to run away. You see, in fit of rage, road rage you are saying, people may run away, but ultimately they are caught, either on the basis of registration number of vehicle, or you see, they are living within the area. They are caught a day or two, and there is a victim who will always identify. So, in all crimes which are done by professionals and by the criminals who do it design, the crucial evidence is circumstance. See, as you know, it is age-old saying that every criminal leaves behind a trail. So this trail is circumstance, evidence to be collected, and the law of circumstantial evidence is that the chain of evidence which you prove, chain of circumstances which you prove, should be so complete that it should unmistakably point out to the person who is charged with it. There should be no two conclusions. He may have done, he may not. This should not. If the circumstances unmistakably and conclusively point out only to one thing, yes, Mr. X has committed the crime, then you see there is no doubt that X. So what is said is that the chain of circumstances must be complete. If there is a link missing, see, you must have seen last seen evidence. In most of the cases, last seen evidence is given importance, but last seen evidence in itself is not considered sufficient to convict. There has to be something more than last seen. But there are circumstances. Say, for example, in a room, two friends are sleeping. On the morning, one is found dead. There is only one person who was left there. Nobody has seen the crime. Now the police has to prove that this crime was committed by whom? Either the person who was with that man, he is a criminal, murdered. Or if there is someone else, then who is? See, in 106 of Evidence Act, something in the special knowledge of a person is proved by him. Now he will have to, the person who is alive in that room, will have to explain to the police how this man died, if it is an unnatural death. Natural death will come in autopsy, but unnatural death will also be explained by the autopsy. So he will have to explain how this happened when there is no third person entry. Now then, police will have to collect evidence, all that, and this will be a very grave circumstance against this man, that he alone was there with this man in the room, and this man got killed and died as unnatural. Unless he doesn't explain it, then it is to be presumed that he is the criminal. He is one. So, Arushi murder case is based on this presumption. See, in that house, two murders take place. In a room, the house is, there is no proof of entry of any third person into that house. And you see, there is a complete medical evidence which shows, which I have not seen the case before, but medical evidence as has been reported, as the case has been going on and reported in the act, there was a sexual act going on. At the time when it seems the parents noticed something. One of the doctors has given evidence that this state in which Bhimraj was found was possible only if sexual act was taken. So, when see these circumstances, one, there is no entry of any third person. It is not even possible without the notice of parents. See, the house is locked, bolted from outside. Now your daughter is living up. Your servant is found in the daughter's room, and in the morning, you are the only person who found both of them dead. Now, then you have to explain what happened. This is one of the biggest circumstances. Then there are attending circumstances which come. You see, how the police can call? This is a question which is asked by Professor Pandey. If the police has not investigated, has after investigation not challaned it, how the court can challenge? How the court can? See, the court is not bound by the police investigation. Conclusions drawn from the police, not police investigation. It is bound by police investigation because court is not the investigating agency. But the conclusions drawn by the police out of the investigation, the court is not bound to it. The police may draw one inference from a circumstance. The court may say, no, it is not proper inference. The police may, you see, in order to show leniency to one of the accused, may not name it. It happens so many times. And the court may find that this is very important evidence against this person, and the police have not even named this man as accused. If you see, there are columns, column number 2, column number 4 in police challan. And police, if charge sheets finds somebody accused of offence, they place him in column number 2. And then they leave mention name of some persons in column number 4 and write that if court considers these persons are also accused, the court may come. So that leverage is there in the court, and it is final authority to accept a closer report or not is the court. That is why otherwise you see the police will be all in all of him drawing conclusions as to whether somebody should be tried or not, whether somebody should be held guilty or not. If we write that he is not guilty, then court is bound. So can the court be so helpless that if police says no, he is not guilty, court says court can't do it? So in order to prevent that miscarriage of justice, this power has been given to the court to summon accused at every stage. Even at the stage when police files charge sheet, the court can, after scrutiny of charge sheet, challan, whatever you call it, challan, if finds that some of the persons have not been named as accused person, though they have committed it, right, they can be summoned as accused. And the court can discharge also. If court finds that police has wrongly made somebody accused, and actually he, from the evidence, no offence is committed by him, the court can discharge. So as the power of discharging a person is there at the very initial stage, power of summoning someone as accused is also there at very initial stage itself. Then the court has power to summon an accused at subsequent stage in the section 309 CRPC. If some witness comes in the court and gives a testimony that police has all recorded wrong statement, actually I made this statement and and this is how crime happened. And these are the persons who were involved in the crime. The court can, you see, believing on the testimony of that witness, can summon additional and ask them to give them charge sheet or to disclose that evidence. And it is not necessary that before summoning, the court should give an opportunity to the accused to cross-examine that person who has given testimony in the court that Mr. XYZ was also in. Stage of cross-examination comes afterwards, because this very witness will have to depose again when this accused is summoned, and you get opportunity to cross-examine. So, the power of court to summon persons is immense and commensurate with the needs of the justice. That justice should be. Now, circumstantial evidence is the only evidence which is available in most of the crucial cases. And these circumstances, as you have read, what the accused was doing prior to the crime is one of the circumstances. This accused was found lurking around the house and seen somebody lurking around the house prior to, one day prior to, or if recce was being conducted, say in CCTV camera, there is, see, nowadays CCTV cameras are there. Telephone call records are there. Technical evidence, lot of technical evidence is there, and you must have noticed that most of the crimes are being cracked these days by this IT evidence. And this is not a direct evidence. It is a circumstantial evidence. Now, if a person is found lurking around the house or conducting recce of the place, yes?
Sir, even this CCTV recording is also no direct evidence?
No. See, you, CCTV camera recording will only show that you are present here. It won't show that you committed the crime. Unless CCTV camera captures the commission of crime. If it captures the commission of crime, the incident itself, then it is a direct evidence. But if no, not CCTV.
Photograph is not proof.
Yes. Photographs of
the last photograph which captured the
camera they left.
yes. You see the
The
camera.
Camera they got it.
The camera was also dead. The camera was
Yes.
captured.
Camera was
recovered by
found.
the
Camera was
investigators.
found on the
They
spot.
left behind the camera, and that camera, through that camera they reproduced the whole.
The last was also captured by the
Yes,
camera.
you see Haridas, who was the photographer.
He was dead on the
He was dead on the spot. His camera was left on the
So
spot.
somewhere else they were police.
Nalini was the garlander.
No sir, Manu was the
Manu was the garlander, and Haridas was the photographer. And it is his photographs proved, you see, very material
There
evidence.
is a forensic science paper.
No, that, you see, photograph is the evidence of what is happening. Yes, direct evidence is considered what is direct evidence. Direct evidence is the person who has seen the crime being committed.
But for the camera they would not have discovered anything.
Yes.
But for the camera.
So that is why it says every accused believes bad something. So circumstantial evidence is a very vital kind of evidence, and it is used in most of the criminal cases which are committed by professionals and committed by disciples. circumstantial evidence is a secondary kind of evidence or something weak kind of evidence. And you will find most of the criminal cases, circumstantial evidence is discussed. No collaboration is required. Only thing required is every circumstance relied upon must be proved conclusively. And the fact must be proven. And the chain must be complete. There should be no missing link. No further, you see, if how you will corroborate? If there is only circumstantial evidence, where from you will corroborate? Corroboration, there can be no oral evidence in such cases. So chain only should be complete. So this is
But coincidence of events, sir. Just now I asked. Coincidence of events.
yes, coincidence of events are there. You see, is one a vital thing. That you see, you may not be an accused, but you may be present at the spot, and instead of you are having committed crime, someone else has committed the crime. Since you are also on the spot, you may be wrongly held to be an accused. There is every possibility of that. But you see, it is a situation which arises very rarely. That is why it is said that the entire chain should be complete. Now, mere presence on the spot may point out that you may be involved in the crime. But then whole chain, your post-crime conduct, your pre-crime conduct, your circumstantial conduct, and then motive behind the crime. Whether you have earlier been involved in a similar crime or not, whether you are a professional criminal or not, all these things are seen. See, if it is a possibility that a person goes and commits theft in a hotel, and then you see simultaneously he is accompanied by a bearer who is also going in the same place and goes to the same place, and he is going for cleaning and other is going for theft. But the bearers, you see, conduct that he continued to remain in the hotel even prior to that. He continued his job. After cleaning that place, he went to other place and did everything. No recovery was made from him. All this will be counted. And the fact that no recovery was made from him would be a very vital circumstance to show that he was not thief. See, these inferences which are drawn under Evidence Act, these are all circumstantial evidence from which you draw inferences. If soon after theft, stolen property is recovered from X, there are two possibilities. That either he purchased or procured stolen property from someone, or he himself is the thief. These are two things. Now, since he is in possession of the property, the onus will be on him to explain how he got in possession. So, these circumstances, you see, nowadays, your location, since means of communication is cell phone gives you everything. And if you are, you see, something as which is being linked by USA, that every communication, every conversation, every email, every SMS is being taped and by tick, and an eye is being kept on everything. Then you see all these things can be reproduced. Your conversation can be reproduced. Technology is there. That what you talk and to whom you talk is reproduced. So circumstantial evidence is not something weak evidence. There should be no doubt in the mind of anybody that circumstantial evidence in criminal matters is weak. In fact, most of the criminal matters which are done by professionals are with design. They are except circumstantial evidence, no other evidence is available. And if we believe that this circumstantial evidence is a weak evidence, then no person will be convicted. We will be convicting only those persons who are actually not criminals, who have accidentally done crime or who have done crime under fit of rage and they have no intention to repeat the crime. But we are talking of crime. Actually, criminals are those who have become professionals, and they always take care that their presence is not noticed, their way of committing crime is not noticed, and they are not detected. So they take care that there is no. That is why you will find even, you see, cases where revenge is taken, revenge crime. It is ensured that every person in the family who is witnessing the crime is killed. Why the whole families are killed? Not because they have to take revenge from whole family. The person wants to take revenge from A, B, C, but he will kill D, E, F, G, everybody. So that no witness is left on the spot. And therefore, you see, then how you will prove crime? Only such. And if you look into cases of Punjab, there is you see land disputes. And in Punjab there have been, see, lot many crimes committed only on grabbing land disputes, division of land, partition of land, my share has not been given there. Or you see, after death of the brother, the wife of the brother is claiming share, and she has not agreed to that ceremony of Chadar Dalna, and she is claiming right of property. So they kill the whole family. There are many reported crimes. And how you prove this crime if you consider circumstantial evidence? And this is also good circumstance that there was a dispute going on between the parties over the land. This is a good circumstance that before the murder took place there was an altercation. Yes.
So I have a question, civil law, since we are talking criminal law, as you have just quoted one example from Punjab case to the widow don't agree for Chadar ceremony. Now let's say for example in this case if the brother killed the widow as well as the children, then to whom the property will go ultimately?
See, if it is proved that
If it is proved he has killed for that
then
particular purpose only,
he is not he is devastated of the property.
Disqualified.
He is disqualified. He is disqualified for the property, and property will go to other name. Class A, class B, class C.
And if nobody is there, then it will go to the government.
Yes, then by a cheat. By a cheat it goes to state. If no here is left, by a cheat it goes to state.
Sir, we came to realize that circumstantial evidence is a very strong kind of evidence at times. But sir, I think it will depend on the merit of the prosecutor also, and at times the willingness of the judge also, because you said that it must unmistakably and conclusively lead to one story only. So at times they can, because it's very easy to conclude other inferences also. So I'll quote some examples like Satyendra Dubey murder case. CBI investigated the case, they could not find out the persons who were responsible. Everybody knows, like maybe that because of media trial or because of the media propagacy we came to that conclusion. Then there was similar case where an IOC official was burnt alive on a petrol pump. Similar case was reported from Maharashtra, sir. And there are series of cases where everybody knows what would have been the motive of the persons. Satyendra Dubey had written several letters to the NHAI officials also. Everybody has a belief that he was assassinated in fact. But sir, we could not conclude the case, closure report has been filed, no witness.
This is the unfortunate state of investigation in our country. We must admire, you see, though that in our country the investigation is at a very rudimentary stage in our country. See, what you expect of investigators? You expect investigators to find the truth by scientific evidence, as far as possible by scientific evidence. Now, if you have seen Salem case, most of you must have read Salem case. State of Kerala versus the Salvi case, not Salem. Silvi versus State of Kerala.
State of Kerala.
Not.
That is Article 20 of
20.
Constitution.
You see, the Supreme Court has given judgment that no accused can be subjected to any of the scientific tests without his consent. And there are many judgments where Supreme Court has written you can't take blood of a person without his consent, because when you give injection for taking blood, insert needle, it is a violence of the You can't take hair sample. I can see there is a case of Punjab where a 7-year-old girl was raped and in her fist there was some hair. And the police wanted to conduct DNA of the hair of the accused. And that I will come to that. Now it has been amended.
Non-obtrusive interference
Now,
is permissible.
now just you can't take. You see the DNA of the hair was missing. You can't take something. You can't take this. Now, what do you expect of police? Do you think police should then the only thing left with the police is data? Recording confessional statements. And this is what police do. Our courts have harped upon against third degree methods of investigation. Right from 1947, when we gained independence, till date, they have been criticizing police for third degree methods, using danda in investigation, recording confession. Simultaneously, our courts have been blocking scientific investigation by them. Simultaneously, you start from 1957 or 56 Kati Kalu case, where you see the interpretation of section 20 subsection 3 was right interpretation given by a 5 judges bench, that self-incriminating evidence does not mean that you can't take documents, you can't take this. It only means you cannot compel a person to stand in the witness box and depose a witness. Now this the scope of section 23 and self-incriminating evidence have been enlarged to such an extent that entire scientific investigation has been blocked by them, except for recent amendment, which the court has made, that you can take samples of this sample, and that also some samples of blood, spit, etc. of the accused. See, I do not understand this mentality of it. There is a basic distrust which is there in the courts against the investigation. And this basic distrust, although there are n number of circumstances by which this distrust has been created, but because of this distrust, you are not allowing even the honest and sincere persons to investigate this. The day is not far off when court may say you can't take call record, you can't take this This also infringes privacy. And it is infringing. What privacy is there? I don't know how taking blood sample infringes somebody's privacy. You are not taking blood sample to prove something. You have a right to investigate is with the police. How to investigate? Only police knows. The courts are not expert in investigation. And courts have miserably failed in even those cases where they supervise investigation. Miserably failed. Tell me one case where court supervised investigation and that has resulted into conviction. Still they keep interfering in the area which doesn't belong in the name of protecting human rights. And this human rights protection actually has turned out to be criminal protection. Yes. Criminal protection. That is why you are not able to collect circumstances. And our police then doesn't bother. They are also not trained. If you have courts, untrained courts, can you find fault with untrained police?
And many a time the police do not work very sincerely. For the fact that they feel that this whole exercise will go in waste, that will not exist.
See, that is a no excuse for anybody. But in frustration, you see this encounters which you find, false encounters. See, many police officers will be there to justify that. And many people in private life, those who speak on forums against police encounter, in their private talk, they will justify police. We have two phases of life. This is very unfortunate that most of our intellectuals live two lives. One, what they hold opinion in private, and other, what they hold opinion in public.
So can we say in the police inspector case, the Supreme Court directed to investigate the matter and supervising each and every the proceedings of the CBI? Can we say that?
See, so the Supreme Court ultimately divested itself of supervision.
It is different thing. What I am saying
But
that
it,
supervision concern. What you are saying that
you see, directing investigation, I am not finding fault.
They cannot lead the investigation.
Cannot lead the investigation.
Yes, that can supervise the investigation.
Neither supervise nor lead. Only magistrate can supervise.
Exactly.
That also
Exactly.
that also in the CIR.
Exactly. Provisions says
Yes. No High Court, no Supreme Court has right to supervise. Yes. They may claim plenary power, but in fact, this is not at all required to be clear. They should entrust this job to the person who it belongs. So circumstantial evidence, if collected scientifically, is a very strong evidence. And if you know, when DNA test was invented, DNA itself was invented. That there is something called DNA. And DNA test was invented to find out what is the DNA. You see, not in India, but in US, you see they preserve samples for quite long time. They have their, preservation system where they preserve the samples of a person who committed crime and against whom the crime was committed for a long time. After DNA came in vogue, you see their prosecution there as a test whether we convicted right persons or not. Did DNA of all samples which are there, lying with them in their storeroom. And they found that many innocent persons have been convicted. Their DNA of their blood did not match with the blood they have preserved. And many persons were acquitted and sent out of jail only on DNA. There is an effort, you see, I think a law is going to be framed or being framed to have a DNA data bank, which is also being opposed. that you cannot have DNA data of the criminals. That amounts to infringement of privacy. So, now if you have DNA data bank and the same person is again involved in a crime and you collect some material from the there. You see, now the techniques have come that even if you touch something, you leave your DNA on that. Up to which this Mr. Talwar has been, you see, harping on. You have not seen that. Talwar has been harping on that they should refer to America, where there are facilities available of touch DNA. So, see, we are advancing in science, but unfortunately we are not using this science perfectly. So the conviction rates, the follow conviction rate, etc. You can't find fault with the law. Circumstantial evidence, if collected properly, see, will give you conclusive clues who did the crime. Conclusive clues. And with the advancement of science, gradually you will be able to pick up what was said in the room, what transpired in the room. Because in the nature nothing dies. Everything, nature preserves everything. Yes.
So one question. England princes have Indian DNA. It is a latest news.
Yes.
How it is understand the DNA process used for criminal trial or conclusive? Maybe mistake is there. Scientific evidence.
I'm sorry, you are mixing two things. DNA stands. You see, when DNA of one race is transferred to other, then from second to third, third to fourth, fourth to fifth. You see, the origin of that is marked somewhere, that where from this DNA came. Origin will be marked. The whole DNA will not be there. Now, DNA has a big stand of entire spectrum that see, and in this DNA test you can tell whether this portion came from mother, this came from father, this came from grandfather, this came from parent. And you see, when we talk of DNA of the accused and something left behind by him, then it is total DNA match. It is not a match of one strand. So there, what you are talking is one strand. And for your information, all these, if you have seen these breeds, dog breeds, where from they are created? All these dog breeds, which you have, say here, Doberman, this, that, how they are created? None of them is natural dog. They are breeds created out of wool. And in their DNA you will find DNA of wolf. Yes, they are created by breeding. See, dog with wolf. Otherwise, your original dogs which are there, they are not breed dogs. They are street dogs. So that is the dog which is your actual dog. All others are, you see, created. And you can trace their breed, in which country they were created. In which country they were created. Yes, what is the, you see, their origin you can trace by even analyzing them. That is how Charles' origin has been traced.
That is a stem cell.
No, stem cell is something altogether different. Stem cell is, you see, a system where your cells are preserved,
Preserving for this.
and then from that cell, regeneration of the more cells is done.
That is, we are
Sir,
able
can you briefly tell about polography, etc., how they were used and why they have been considered to be against Article 20 of the Constitution?
You see, let me tell you, there are three tests: narco test, polographic test, and brain mapping test. Now, in your Evidence Act, it is very categorically written that any confession made before a police officer is not admissible. So, whether a police officer does a brain, narco test, or he records statement by any other test, giving you a serum or giving you anything, it will be a confession before police person which will not be admissible. Now, how narco test is, there is a chemical, yes, and if you administer this in controlled quantity to a person, it is not harmful to that man. Physical harm, it doesn't cause any physical harm. However, this takes his mind out of his control. He can't, by thinking, change his, give a sequence to his form as you can give. Okay, policeman is coming, I will state this. Okay, I have to go to teacher, I will make this excuse. Okay, I have to go to my father, I will make this excuse. So that kind of control is lost. And from that, you can, if that man is administered that uncontrolled quantity and you ask him questions, he will answer your question in the natural way, although not natural sound, natural voice, but what his mind is there in his mind, stored in his mind naturally. He won't be able to shadow his information stored in his mind by his own thought.
Subconscious mind.
This is what I. So, from his subconscious mind, you will be able to extract information. Now, because he is administered serum, that truth serum which is called, and his statement is recorded by keeping him in the supervision of doctor, making him lie on some table, and questions are asked. It is considered that it is violence to him, and it is infringement of his personal human right. You see, the court considers, and in my opinion, Supreme Court considers that if you have to record confession, you must record it with a danda, not with truth. He may speak truth under danda. Why you are using serum? So that seems to be the philosophy of the court who said that narco test. Otherwise, narco test gives you vital information. Say, you have caught hold of a person after a bomb blast, thinking that he has planted the bomb. Now you subject him to this narco test immediately. You will come to know whether he is actually involved or not. If he is actually involved, you will be able to extract information. What are his future plans? Whether he has already planted bombs at other places which are going to explode, or he intends to plan who are his accomplices, where they are staying. All this information can be extracted. As in any other confession, if discoveries are made on the basis of confession, that becomes admissible. In this confession also, only that part will be admissible which is in pursuance of which discoveries are made. I do not find any logic, any reason behind banning narco test. and narcotics only somebody should give consent. But this is the law of the land. Now brain mapping is also a technique by which you put electrodes and other things on a person's brain, and then you ask him to make statement. If when he makes statement, you see our brain works in a very peculiar fashion. It sends signals electronically, and our thinking mind, you see, by which we control our brain, that whatever we call it, by which we tell the brain, no, we have not to give this information. No, we have to twist this information. These kind of signals are sent to the brain, then these signals are captured, and then you are able to tell whether this man is giving you complete information or he is not giving you information. Lie detector test is a blood pressure kind of test. It is presumed that when you are speaking lies, there is fluctuation in your blood pressure. And blood pressure equipments are installed on your body. And you see, you are asked to give statement. And I tell you, it is by there are people, expert persons who are expert, they can fail these two tests, brain mapping and lie detector, both. It is
Polygraph is the lie detector.
lie detector.
They have been scientifically proved that they are correct.
No, you see,
American Supreme Court,
You
three
see-
decisions have said they are scientifically not verified.
you see,
Therefore, they are unconstitutional.
there, it is not that every size was something which is not scientifically proved is unconstitutional. I'm sorry. There's no constitution. Our constitution only says that we should have the temper, scientific temper. But our Evidence Act does not say that something which is scientifically not proved is not evidence. See, this confession recorded of an accused under in police custody is not admissible in evidence. Not because it is scientifically proved that in police custody everybody speaks lies. You may speak truth. But because in police, see, there is a tendency of the police to solve cases, they extract confession. Then confession becomes the easiest way of solving crime. You need not have any other evidence. Record confession, put him to trial, and police will prove that this is his confession, so this is admissible. So to prevent this, that police, you see, should not sit at a police station and complete investigation by sitting at police station. But you see, we have gone to extremes.
Not only in India, in China, 80% of death penalty cases are based on extractive confession. 80% cases.
But in India,
Therefore,
not.
the UN
चाइना में सर कैपिटल पनिशमेंट के लिए क्या कन्फेशन की जरूरत?
extracted confession, Canada extracted confession. UN committee ने on human rights ये कहा कि extracted confession evidence should not be made admissible. और चाइना ने कहा ये हम नहीं करेंगे. तो बहुत आसान है जल्दी से और हिंदुस्तान में भी लोग समझते नहीं जल्दी कन्विक्शन कराओ तड़ातड़ कन्विक्शन रेट हाई करो और किसी तरह ये के प्रकार एविडेंस कलेक्ट करो सेक्शन 25 को एबॉलिश करो सबसे पहले तो वो should abolish section 25 the Sylvie case will become meaningless if you abolish section 25 Sylvie case will not be there और सारा पुलिस लॉबी तो यही कह रहा है कि सिल्वी केस से जगह क्यों करते हो 25 को abolish करो that is the 1872 wisdom that is colonial law को कैसे हम abolish करें तो colonial लोग हैं इसलिए colonial law कैसे abolish किया जाए so therefore that is the problem
The problem lies with our conceiving the thought. You see, we don't conceive things in proper thought. Now, there is a case, reported case, which is taught in to law students in Delhi. I don't remember the case, where a person killed his entire family and went to police station. Yes. He killed his entire family, went to police station, told police that I have killed my entire family. This is the Kulagi. Here is the
This is
Kulagi.
what prosecution is saying. He
No,
didn't
no,
say,
I'm-
the prosecution is
All
saying
right,
this.
prosecution
How
is
can
saying. I am telling you, prosecution is saying that this man killed. Let us say prosecution is saying that a person killed his entire family in and that was he is there. Prosecution says that he came to police station and made a statement, recorded FIR. We recorded FIR on the basis of his statement, and then went to his house, discovered bodies, and found that 5 bodies were there. Arm was also recovered, and the cases. Now, the prosecution case is this. We say that this FIR has to be treated as confession, which is recorded by the police because he came to police. And once he comes to police station, he is presumed to be in police custody. This is one presumption we make, that anybody who comes to police station, then he is in police custody. So anybody who reports to the police, he is in police custody, so his statement should not be believed. So this is one presumption we make. This is not at all the purpose of section 20. Then every complainant, whatever he tells the police, he is telling in police custody and he should not. Whether you see, you can't give two treatment, one to complainant and one to it. Second, then you see, if it is a confession, in persons of confession, you see one question which next arises. Can the police dream that somewhere some bodies are lying and we should record an FIR? How the police will gain knowledge of commission of crime unless it is told to them? Either the policeman on the beat knocks at every home. Is everybody alive in the house? Or there is a system of crime being reported to the police. Every crime has to be reported. Say some crime is reported to the police. Somebody has to report to the crime to the police. Police cannot dream of the crime. If police cannot dream of the crime, let us assume that he made no confession. But he came to the police to say that these many people in my house are lying dead. Now, if he comes and says these many people are lying in my house dead, without saying I committed that, then he must at least say how he got died. He should say, I was not in the house when somebody came and killed them. I discovered them dead. He should come and report to the police that these many crimes have taken place in my house. Please investigate.
So that is the burden on the prosecution.
I'm sorry that you have to read section 106 of Evidence Act. This is the unfortunate thing, that nobody reads section 106 of Evidence Act.
Lordship story is being brought before you by the prosecution, and my story is different.
What is your story? You have
My
not
story-
come forward with.
I need not disclose my story at all.
This is the difficulty, that in
Change the
your
adversarial system.
No, I'm not changing adversarial. I'm going by adversarial system.
How can you catch
Say
it?
in 313, Your story is not this. You have not confessed. In 313, it is an evidence that you came to police station. You have to explain the circumstances under 313 why you came.
This is what police says.
I am not saying as an accused. In 313, when you ask a person,
I went to the police station. If the police,
Now-
if section 25 is to be read, 25 to 6, that is what this is safeguard.
I am not saying denying in safeguard, but section 313 of CRPC in adversarial system casts a duty on the court to
Now then
ask the
best-
accused.
The best thing is start with 3 and 313. All accused who
No, I
are
am saying after
identified by
entire
the
evidence,
police.
after entire evidence is over, then he is to be put. He is to be put 313. Entire evidence is over. I am talking of Abu Nagesh.
Then supposing you
Abu Nagesh.
let us discuss for the sake of discussion. You lessen the burden of prosecution. You don't let prosecution do anything. And 313 you ask him question and say that you explain.
No, I am
With
not
all
saying.
your now you have relied on the prosecution. How can you rely on the prosecution story?
No, I am not
That is
relying.
the thrust of 162.
No, I am not relying.
Nothing said by the police.
I am saying I as a judge, I am not relying on prosecution.
Sir, may I have a question from this?
I am saying that this FIR is protected as section 25(3). But the fact that you went to police
You
station,
said that
Yes,
Mohammed
not-
Inayatullah case, that Supreme Court decision where a drum of paint was stolen and it was found in a public place. The court said that he may only know about the drums. That is not enough for guilt determination. He may know about the dead bodies. He may know about Tangi. It may have been a design of some Zamira to howl him up, because if the whole family is killed and then this man also is hanged, then we'll have all the lands with us. Therefore, all this is a story that is cooked up. Now, how do you answer that? The court precisely is understanding it this way. And that is the purpose of 2526. Unless you remove it, then it will become very easy for the under 2526. Then many that will be vitiate the best evidence rule. Best evidence is not coming. Your criminal justice becomes to that extent questioning. These are the safeguards, sir.
I am not denying safeguard. You see, if you are presuming so many things,
Now, if everything,
You see, you
everything
presume-
judge knows,
you
everything-
presume, you make presumption as the judge made that at 8 a.m. nobody can commit sodomy. So you are presuming that every person who kills his family has a land with him to over which some zamindar has an eye. It is not necessary that the man may be having land, he may be having no land. And there may be no one else who want to put him in
मोहम्मद
false.
इनायतुल्लाह में यही
Yeah,
Supreme
this
Court
is
ने
what
कहा
I'm
है,
saying.
ये public
You
place में
can't
drums
make
नहीं है।
generalized
He
presumptions.
knows about the drums.
See, I'm not denying, but I'm not even advanced, gone ahead of one stage when you are presuming so many things. See, I'm saying that I go by what prosecution says.
The prosecution
And I go by the safeguard. I'm not going by
the
what
adversarial system थोड़ी work
No, I'm not going by prosecution says, I'm going by what your stand is. That his statement made before this on the basis of which FIR was recorded is not admissible. So we don't go by what is recorded in that. Now he went to police station. Is a fact.
prosecution कह रहा है ना, ये case में-
I'm telling, this is what I'm telling you,
ये सारी story
that if
prosecution
we,
बता
all
रहा है।
right, he did not go to police station. Let us presume he did not go to police station. In his house, 5 murders.
Adversarial system, the burden is on the prosecution.
You see, in
Certainly,
the
adversarial
adversarial
का purpose ही क्या है?
system, only in the adversarial system, section 106 is there, which tells that something.
नहीं, but उसमें आप एक ही section कैसे पकड़ सकते हैं?
I, that is very important
106.
section.
अगर
If something is in your special knowledge, only you have to explain.
this is
So,
the
by the way, all the report will be influenced by the prosecution or prosecution statement. Because it is coming
No, I
after
give
the
you-
completion of the prosecution date. By the time it could be influenced or even coming under the impression that, okay, the prosecution is, how come the defense or the accused will have the opportunity to disprove?
See, accused is presumed innocent. One thing. Whatever be the prosecution story, the accused is presumed innocent still is convicted. One, because he gets every opportunity to cross-examine every witness, which is produced by prosecution only to disprove the story of the prosecution. The whole purpose of cross-examination is to disprove the story and to throw doubt on the story of the prosecution. I am saying in Arjun Nagesh case, let us not. If a policeman appears and he states that he came to police station and made this confessional statement on the basis of which I recorded it, we will say this is not admissible, which what you have recorded, because it is self-incriminatory confession. But he came to police station is not a confession. See, he came to police station at such and such time is not a confessional statement. It is not inadmissible under any law. Now he
ये बताइए जब केस होगा तो ये पता कैसे लगेगा he came to the police station या घसीट के पुलिस वाले उसको पकड़ लाए?
मैं भी तो यही कह रहा हूँ।
हाँ, उसको पुलिस वाले पकड़ लाए जब
मैं भी तो यही कह रहा हूँ।
अर्जुन नगेशिया घाट काट रहा था अपने खेत में और उसको पकड़ के ले आए।
मैं भी तो यही कह रहा हूँ भाई, उसको ये क्वेश्चन तो पुट करोगे कि भाई आप पुलिस स्टेशन आए थे तो वो ये बताएगा कि मैं घसीट के लाया गया था, मैं घसीट के लाया गया था। आप कह रहे हो, आप उसको ये क्वेश्चन ही नहीं पुट करते।
3 और 106 पूरा कंप्लीट कोड हो गया। यही जैसा अभी आई वाज इन नेशनल ये टाटा इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ सोशल साइंसेज में कॉन्फ्रेंस थी एशियन क्रिमिनोलॉजिकल सोसाइटी, समथिंग वेरी सिमिलर एंड इट वाज वेरी by very good activist. I thought he was good. Prashant Bhushan. We don't need such a big presentation. We don't need such a big evidence law. We need one section evidence law. We need one section CRPC. And now I said, what are you talking? All these laws are made so elaborately in order to safeguard the liberty of the citizen. Now otherwise फिर इतना सभी झंझट करने की जरूरत क्या है? फिर पढ़ाने की क्या जरूरत है? एक अच्छा जज हो जाए, we need judges of integrity. ऐसे जजेस कहाँ से लाओ? कितने प्रशांत भूषण लाओगे कहाँ से? सब प्रशांत भूषण होंगे क्या? और एक प्रशांत भूषण भी एक सेक्शन के एविडेंस एक्ट में और एक सेक्शन के सीआरपीसी में कैसे करेगा जस्टिस? Because you need, and this has over a period of time. It has taken 700-800 years in advanced countries like US, like USA, जहाँ systems develop हुए। अगर हम लोग सोचें कि हम लोग वापस जाके एक छोटे 106, 313 के कोड में पूरा ट्रुथ समाहित कर दें और इतने अच्छे जज होंगे, that is too much. ये जजेस कुछ अच्छे भी हो सकते हैं। I am not saying कोई जज, but then what about the liberty? It may be put to abuse. It may be trusting the police or trusting the prosecution so much. The whole essence of adversarial system, you know, adversarial system says there should be competing parties, they must be able to present their cases, and their abilities should be access to justice or legal aid to सब लोग able हो जाए, ऐसा एक assumption है हमारी सोसाइटी में। जहाँ लोग एबल नहीं है सब लोग इक्वल, वहाँ वो assumption भी fallacious हो जाता है। But then at least उसको लॉयर करने का, लीगल एड का लॉयर मिलेगा, जो कुछ मिलेगा, चाहे टेररिस्ट हो चाहे कोई हो। Otherwise, if you go by the identification done by executive agency, which acts on its own rules, पुलिस वाले अच्छे पुलिस वाले भी हो सकते हैं, but they might be under pressure. Conviction rate बढ़ाओ, crime घटाओ, something would be like to arrest Agnu Nagesia, पकड़ो ले जाओ.
Your difficulty is that you are very, praiseworthy of Mekale and Raja. Where the section suits you. These sections I am talking are also framed by Mekale.
But
and
they
three
have to be
is
seen.
also, but you are
You
not
have to
seeing
balance
them.
them.
You are not seeing, prepared to see
So,
the importance of this
नहीं
section.
देखोगे 106 को
I am
सब देखोगे.
saying, see, 106 is, I am only saying that 106 casts a duty on the person who has special knowledge to explain to the court how this. Now you are saying you can't put this question, either 106 or 313. You see,
तो वही प्रशांत वाली जैसी
no,
बात
I am
होगी.
not saying. I am saying that the whole thing. You see, you are sticking to a stand that if adversarial system is the best system.
No, I'm not saying that.
And in USA, let me tell you, in USA and Europe, the
You have some
statement.
question?
Yes, sir. I have a small submission, sir. In fact, I do not find any conflict or any contradictory opinion in what you are saying, sir. Sir, I'll begin with what Honorable Justice started with. Like FIR, you give a very good insight that in this case, Agnu Nagesia case, peculiar case, where the first informant himself was a person who confessed his crime. This is a prosecution story, as we know, sir. This is a prosecution story. Now, otherwise also we know that FIR has no evidentiary value except for corroborating or contradicting the informant. This is a well-settled principle, sir. And when it is a confession, then it cannot even be used for that purpose also, because it is a confession. Now, but a very good point that Justice have told us to focus is that in India, in law curriculum also, sir, we are not focusing, and unless yesterday only told us, we were not focusing on burden of proof. And that is how this session included section 101 up to section 110. We had a very elaborate discussion.
The whole
Very
burden
important.
is ignored.
So, and in this case, sir, Agnu Nagesia case actually, as you have said, sir, the Agnu Nagesia, they were not his own family members. Agnu Nagesia was actually the nephew of the lady and other relatives. So the murders were not committed in his house. He was living in the neighborhood. So, but in a particular case where the occupier of the house himself comes to the court, police station, and thereby lodges an information, all my family members are dead. Then in that case, I really find a point that in the court, the judge must ask, section 106 must be invoked, and he must be asked as to, because this fact is in his knowledge, so he must be asked about that facts. But in Agnu Nagesia, the facts were bit
See, I am
different.
talking, even in Agnu Nagesia,
Sir,
it is Agnu Nagesia who went to police station. Let us forget that he lodged an FIR. Let us forget that he was, you see, the police fact is right or wrong. But his fact of going to police station is not an admission. And it is not something which is not admissible, see, or inadmissible. See, if a police person comes to court and says that Agnu Nagesia came to police station and made a statement, which I record. That part of policeman's statement, that he made a statement, confessional statement, which I recorded. You may say that this confession will not be read in evidence against Agnu Nagesia. But a statement of a witness, whether he is from police or he is from common man, that he came to police station and made a statement to the police is a fact which you cannot ignore under any circumstance, because the same law which we are reading, CRPC, Evidence Act, does not make any distinction between a police witness or a common man. A witness is a witness. You may say that a police person has tendency to speak lies, but same is true with common man. Any person can have tendency to speak lies. Therefore, that can be tested in cross-examination, whether he is speaking lie or he is speaking truth. But the fact that his statement is there that Agnu Nagesia came to police station to make a report, is an admissible piece of evidence. It cannot be inadmissible piece of evidence. His confession is inadmissible. So you may not rely on his confession, but you cannot say that this part of testimony that Agnu Nagesha came to police station for lodging some statement is also inadmissible. Now Agnu Nagesha came to police station is a fact which you have to put to him and people, and he will explain to you why did he go to police station if not for lodging report. You will have to put
That should have
him.
been asked.
You will have to put him.
The trial court should have asked.
This is what I am saying, that this too much adherence to these rules without understanding them is where injustice is being. And this is the whole thing, that we don't understand the importance of rule. Even in this 25, 24 days, you must have seen that where confession statement is made, that I killed X with a knife and only knife is recovered, then only this part that I had a knife is admissible, and whether he killed with the knife is not admissible. If we are dissecting a confession statement to this extent, why in Agnu Nagesha we did not dissect that part of the act, that he went to police station and lodged a report, whether false, wrong or confessional is something different. Now he went to police station of his own is a fact which is recorded by which is proved by the police, by evidence. Now in cross-examination, if he says that no, I did not go to police station of my own, I was dragged there from my field, or some landlord had an eye on my land and there I was to be falsely implicated, he took me, the case would have been altogether different. But when he admits in his P1-3 also, he does not deny that he did not go to police station for lodging report. Let us forget what is his confession. Now then, next piece of evidence is discovery of bodies, discovery of the weapon of offense. Can you ignore all this circumstantial evidence only because you are saying there is confession statement which we cannot read, so we will not read anything else? This is what has happened in Agnu Nagesha. You see, this happened. What happened in the courts? It is not one case where Agnu Nagesha is done. There are innumerable cases where the High Court or the Supreme Court, while hearing appeal, they find that okay, he has killed his entire family. Now he is left with no family member. He has already suffered a lot. He is in jail for 5 years, because now I see when that Agnu Nagesha happened, the appeal used to be decided in short time. I am not saying he has been in jail for 20 years, which is now the case. So he has already suffered. Why should he be sent to jail? Or why should he be? See, these kind of thoughts are there, which you find actually in judgments. You see, you read corruption cases under Prevention of Corruption Act, Supreme Court cases. There is a reported case where a man, his corruption is proved, a police official, he is taking bribery is proved, and the Supreme Court lets him off by a small fine and undergone few days undergone. On what ground? See, he lost his job because of this. As if a corrupt man should always have his job. And losing job is a punishment. A corrupt man should not lose job. So that is one. He has been facing trial for such a long time. See, now if you see the reasons why trials are faced for a long time, 90% it is the accused who prolongs it. 90%. Normally all cases, if you go to Delhi court, you will find that normal case decision making process takes place 2 to 3 years. But where accused wants to prolong, it is 20 years. So he has faced such a long trial. And how they count trial? They will count the appeal period in High Court, the appeal period in Supreme Court, and the trial court. So in every case where High Court delays or Supreme Court delays, the benefit should go to the account. So it is very, and there, see, it is a practice that when you see a big file, you keep it aside and decide easier cases. And at the end of 10 years, you say, see, now he has already suffered for 10 years, he has been coming to court and going from the court, so he has suffered.
Sir, may I take you away from this case and ask a very basic question which many people may not appreciate in a nice manner, but I am eager to ask the questions. Is like recent one accident has happened in the Bombay, one heroine just killed herself. So if two people are in love and after a certain period of time one of them goes back and they do not want to continue and the other person goes in depression and then commits suicide, what offense the first person has done?
Nothing.
No offense has been done.
There is case law.
There
I
is
do
no
not know, sir. That's why I told that this is a very basic question.
You see, this abetment to suicide, committing suicide, abetment means, the law of abetment says, it is very clear that you have to first be in contact with the person who is committing suicide so that he may commit suicide. You have to encourage him that he should commit suicide. Instigate him. That why you see why you are tolerating. Say somebody tells somebody, so much insult. If I had been there, I would have committed suicide. This is an instigation. This is an abetment. See, in most of the cases where daughter-in-laws commit suicide, you will find these kind of allegations there. She told me, you see, you are so ugly, if I had been there, I would have committed suicide. Or this, that, why don't you commit suicide? We would be happy, I would marry my son somewhere else if you commit suicide.
It was accepted in Supreme Court as instigation.
These are instigation. But if somebody commits suicide in depression, or somebody commits that another person has not acted according to wishes,
The instigation will also depend upon acts, conduct, like what was said, what was done, what letters were written. Instigation,
Can you discuss a little bit about Deepika case offense? What Kanda has done? What offences Kanda must have done?
you see that in order to discuss individual cases, you need to know the entire. See, I can discuss you one case where the one Inspector Namchanda of Delhi Police committed suicide. He was on a case, investigating some case. He was transferred from that case by the Commissioner of Police. And he wrote a suicide note, big suicide note. That during pressure, the investigation of this case, pressure was being put on me, this and that. When I did not come to pressure, the police commissioner transferred me from this case, and therefore I am committing suicide, and police commissioner is responsible for the commission of my case. He wrote it. Here, there was another case which came to me where a person has written letter before committing suicide that I am committing suicide because of this and this act of Prime Minister. And you may find in South committing suicide for you see in favor of their leaders and etc. is very much common.
We are lost in the match.
See, some leader not, say somebody say is not elected, say tomorrow some election and Karnataka is not elected as Chief Minister or Amma is not elected as Chief Minister. You will find people, their devotees committing suicide. And somebody writes a letter that I am committing suicide because Karnataka contested against this. then this becomes a good ground for
Lump sum amount was get.
So these are not instigations. And in fact, I had given judgment on in that Machanda case, giving what amounts to instigation and how
Intentional abetment or instigation, aid or instigation, intention.
So it is there that you must intend that this man should commit suicide. And for that, you instigate him.
That is different.
That is not
self. Burning
Murder.
others. Third party burning is not included.
See, it is not instigation.
Sir, actually the circumstantial evidences, what you said in the two persons sleeping in a room, one of the police officer came to the university and said something about the investigation process. He said they are practicing the complainant process. Who is making the complaint? They will start with the investigation from the complainant. This is the practice they are using in the circumstantial evidences. Usually they are practicing. Because they don't know about the facts of the crime, who has committed that. That is why they wanted to start with the investigate with the complainant. Then find the facts. There may be a complainant itself a criminal. That is the offender. So that is why they wanted to start with this, the complainant onwards. This is the happening in the investigation process.
See, everybody has his own sort of investigation, but complainant is a source of information.
That is, they wanted to start like this.
Because they want to see, so you go to police station for making a complaint.
The suspicious, you don't know.
No, not suspicious, even otherwise. Then the police effort would be to extract as much information from you as possible. So that is, there is nothing objectionable in that.
That is why the people are afraid of
And
going to
sometimes,
investigation.
and it quite may happen that sometimes the accused himself, in order to conceal his that I am not the criminal, may go to police and lodge a complaint. And this happens. This happens in many cases. And this is happening nowadays much more. That people feel their own kidnapping for extracting money from father. They feel their own see this, and you see then they become complainants.
I think there is no question from your side. You have been discussing very, very overarching decision on many issues which discussed and clarified our doubts, because this is very important for the course that the teachers themselves must be clear about many doubts. If these small doubts remain, they linger on. Say for instance, as you said rightly, Godwin is totally ignored. Godwin was never touched upon, except in section 101, 102, very cursory language. Now 101, 102, 106 also, 105. So all this has come in our discussion. So this is very good.
And you see, in practice, law is applied altogether in different.
And then
It depends on personal whims and fancies of them. See, it is
perception and the lawyer's perception.
See, sometimes even vital evidence.
And this is how you, bad judgments are there, bad justice.
And you will not even know what vital evidence has been ignored because it is not even mentioned. See, I know of this case which I decided in the trial court, Ratna trial case. I had convicted him of harboring criminals, harboring terrorists. Now the evidence which was there was that he was Minister of Energy Minister and National Thermal Power Corporation was under him. When this Dawood Ibrahim man went to him and asked for shelter, he asked them to stay in NTPC guest house. Now the evidence of their going to NTPC and going to NTPC guest house is there because guest house record is there. Now in guest house they stayed for about 4 or 5 days or a week. Since police was behind that, they left the guest house without paying the bills of the guest house. Because, and normally in these guest houses, see there is a contractor who runs the canteen and he charges bill for whatever food is served, and sometimes guest house itself is given to on contract that he will manage the guest house, run the canteen and charge this much government official money and balance will be paid to him. Official charges are always less. Now these people went away without paying bill. Now the contractor started writing to the minister. You see, this bill for these persons have not been paid, who will pay the bill? He wrote to minister's PA. PA replied him that please wait, I will seek instruction from the minister and then give to reply to you. Now this entire correspondence is there. Thereafter he wrote, he wrote that you please treat them as a state guest. So those criminals were treated as state guests and money for their stay was paid out of the state treasury. Now this whole evidence was discussed by me in order to convict Mr. Kalpana Rai for harboring the criminals. This whole evidence is missing from the Supreme Court. And you see, they discuss something else.
But all the same, you are just totally finished his career as a politician. Otherwise, a very powerful politician. And that is what sometimes surprises you. How did, I am asking this question which is in my mind, how did this Om Prakash Chautala and 53 people, how did their case come to Delhi court? And how did Delhi court convict them?
See, these cases are transferred at the instances of prosecution. And the transfer applications are made. Even in this Kalpana Rai case, he was not made accused.
But in economic offense, 10 years imprisonment, how is it possible? They have been given 7 years to 10 years. They have provided. And they have the right to appeal. They are not given the right to appeal.
No, right to appeal is right to bail is something different.
Bail
You are talking right to bail.
right to bail.
Right to bail is there under 389 CRPC as a mandatory right before the trial court if you are sentenced 3 years or below 3 years. So wherever the trial court feels that this man should not go to jail, he will sentence him below 3 years. And wherever trial court feels he is a crook of first class, I will see that he goes to
This
jail.
criminal justice system is so powerful that the whole political career and the whole political sort of.
Of course, but normally, see, this is done by only in exceptional cases. I had gone to recently to Rajasthan Police Academy. Here in Rajasthan, they had analyzed all cases for the sake of section 389. That in serious offences, how many judges are giving sentence beyond 3 years, so that people go to jail. Because I found that in 95% of the cases, judges give sentence below 3 years.
Only
that below 3 years.
Jharkhand Chief Minister
So that
Shibu Soren got more than 3 years.
murder case nobody can give less than 3 years. 3 years. It is to be life or life or death. In murder case, that to be life or death. Jharkhand Shibu Soren was a
Murder case.
Economic
Murder case.
10 years.
in economic offences, you see, Prevention of Corruption Act, where disproportionate assent case is there covered, the sentences up to 10. And in Kalpana Thai case, I was telling that police has not made Kalpana Thai as an accused. CBI has not made Kalpana Thai as an accused. When I went through the Challan cooperating charges against other accused persons, I found that he is one of the biggest culprits who is harboring the terrorists. And he has not been made accused. And I summoned him on the 3 not 390. At the time of putting framing charges, I summoned him. As now Kalmar has been summoned. And then, see the entire evidence was there. And what was his reaction? You will be surprised to know. Who is this wealth person? Okay, I will submit. So the basic effect, as they say, they are not afraid of disease.
They should have the guts there.
Yeah, it's to have their information inside stories. None of these politicians are afraid. Only those who are not in power. Once you are not in power, then the story is. Once you are in power, the story is. Yes. So they are all in league. As far as law is concerned, judicial reform, no judicial reform can take place in India. This making legislation, making one amendment in IPC or CRP is not judicial reform. Actual judicial reform lies in making courts, real courts, where decision take place in a reasonable time, not in 2 weeks. Investigation is over in reasonable time.
Where case is taking so much time, fast track for
See, when we start capsuling the courts, that we will have fast track court for rape cases, we will have fast track court for this cases, and we have not trained our judges that what actually criminal trial means. You can't have fast track court. See why the whole the court system is strong by 138 cases. Where 138 case should not take more than 3 hearings.
It was a summary trial.
It is a summary trial. It cannot take more than 3 hearings.
There are as many as 8 to 10 law firms which are doing only 138 cases. Flooded with cases. Lot of practice 138 firms in the states.
The punishment is enhanced recently. That is 1 year to 2 years.
Not prejudice commission also.
Thank you very much. This you break for lunch, and then in the next you have that Madam Santosh Iman, another very young judge who has a lot of experiences of the courtroom. She was the United States Court President. Someone was asking about you guys. You can ask her